Welcome to another CK podcast in 2020. On this show, we're going to have a lot of awesome guests, and I'm super excited to present today's guest, William Thompson, also known as the main man, the main photographer of Sacramento, man. Appreciate you coming on, my guy. How are you?
Great to be here. I'm great, man. I'm great. Glad to be here. I've been following you guys for a while,
Right.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never knew who did this. I was always like, who runs all this stuff, man? So yeah, it's good to be here. It's good to be here.
No, it's awesome, man. We're going to talk about how much of an impact you have in this community. You're also a basketball player, same as me, same as him. We love the game. And we're very passionate about it, so we'll get into that towards the end of the show. We'll get some into some Kings basketball as well.
Yeah,
I'm sure you got your thoughts about that.
Yeah.
Don't hold back on this show.
Right.
We don't hold back.
All right.
Okay. And then just kind of talking about your company and then your career.
Okay.
But I want to start off with, where did your love for photography come from?
Man, that's a good question. I actually got into photography through Instagram.
Okay.
So I downloaded Instagram in 2011, just kind of randomly. Like I was going through the App Store. I just
2011. So that was 2 years after it. Was that 2 years after it?
It was
launched?
A couple months after it. Like, it launched in 2010. I downloaded it early 2011.
So you got it in early.
Yeah. So it was a whole different app. But I just got the iPhone 4, bro, and like I was scrolling through like new apps to download, and I just randomly downloaded it, and I saw a bunch of cool photos of different cities. And I was like, man, we need some Sacramento photos on here in this app, you know? So I just went out and started taking photos and got into it
with your iPhone.
My iPhone. Yeah. So I started. So if you go back, you can go through my feed and scroll all the way back, and you'll see like really bad iPhone photos.
Yeah.
And that was just how it started. And it really, like, I started getting good feedback of people who were saying like, wow, I've never seen Sacramento like that. And that's what really hyped me up, was like, I can take a photo and change someone's perspective of the city. You know what I mean? Like,
it's the capital.
Yeah.
You're right.
Like I think the way I saw it, like I was able to share that with other people. And so kind of give you a different perspective, and that's powerful, you know?
It is. It really
that's crazy what an image can do. Like,
so you had no background, essentially. You just
no, not at all.
Out of the blue, started.
I started with my iPhone. I'd never owned a camera. My parents didn't really have cameras. We had like the disposable ones, but that's all I ever had experience with. And so yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting journey, but it's taken me to a great place.
And then from there, it just kept growing.
Yeah, so from there, I started with my iPhone, and then I actually got hired to do a photo shoot with my iPhone. Yeah, I told the people, I was like, I only have an iPhone, like I can't do it. And they were like,
don't make excuses. Y'all. If he could do it, anyone can do it.
It's true. And they were like, we don't care what you show up with. We just want you there to take some photos. And I was like, all right. So I did a shoot with my iPhone. And it came out okay, but I wanted to do better, you know? Right. So I went out and bought a camera. And then, you know, like you buy
What was your first camera? Do you remember?
I got the Canon T3i.
Okay.
I just sold it recently. I held on to it for a long time, but I finally got rid of it. And then, so I spent a good amount of money on a camera. So I'm like, well, now I got to pay for this thing. So I started doing photo shoots, just small stuff here and there. And then,
were you using Photoshop at the time or not yet?
I wasn't.
It's like a Windows program? Are you using Windows?
I was editing on my phone. So I was taking everything directly from my camera to my phone and editing in like apps and stuff, you know. I didn't discover Lightroom until like later on. It took me way too long to figure that out. But so just like I a lot of it honestly was just feedback from other people, and like people kind of supporting me and telling me like, yo, you're really good at this. Like, you should keep going. And I was like, I don't know, man. Like,
at what point was that? Was that like 2013, 2014?
I started kind of taking it more serious in like 2014, 2015.
Okay.
And I started realizing like, yo, I can do this like full time. Like, I could do this every day if I really focus on it and I get better. And that was when I started kind of transitioning into like trying to be a photographer.
So you went to YouTube University.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Where we're all certified.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like that's how I learned. I never took classes or anything like that. I just kind of taught myself. And like, once I decided that in my head, I just put everything that I had into photography. So I would go out and shoot every single day. Like if it was raining outside, I'd go out and like try to figure out how to take photos in the rain. Or if it was foggy or sunset or sunrise, like I went out every single day and tried to shoot in different conditions just to learn my camera and to kind of figure out my style and to really perfect my craft, which, obviously I haven't. Like, that's
there's always room for improvement
exactly.
for
It's
everyone.
super elusive
For everyone.
But yeah, it's been a journey for sure.
You said style. What is your style?
I don't know if I can define it. I really just learned how to share my perspective. I think what's interesting about photography is I really believe like everyone sees the world differently. Like everyone perceives it. Like the way I see the world isn't the same as the way you see it. And I feel like the way I see it, I don't know, I'm kind of a positive, upbeat kind of person. And I think that shows in my photos. And so I can see something that maybe isn't.
I see a lot of light in your pictures.
Right, exactly.
Positivity.
Exactly.
Like
it really is.
A picture can say a million words.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter like what the conditions are. I'm gonna like
That's crazy.
make it feel warm and feel kind of like a happy feeling. And so that's really what I try to do is like share that. Like my perspective is kind of like a positive one. So I can see a building that maybe you would just walk past and be like, whatever.
That's just a great building.
Yeah, exactly. But the way I see it is like, this is cool. Like, and it's just kind of like, it's my way to share.
That's creative. Yeah.
It's photography is just my way to share my perspective on the world with other people. So that's my style, is like kind of warmer, I guess, bright and like upbeat. So,
that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So you do a lot of work in the community. You have a company named Good Ink, right?
Good Ink, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so one of the things that I ran into kind of through my journey trying to become a professional photographer was like, I didn't have anyone to look up to. I didn't have any mentors. I had no idea what to do. Like I could watch videos on YouTube of other people saying like, but those people live in San Francisco or New York. Like it's different. Sacramento is a different place,
markets,
So I had to kind of scratch and claw and kind of find my way in this, community or this economy.
No doubt.
And it was tough. It was difficult, and I wanted to, Good Ink start an organization that could kind of help other people do what I did. I wanted to be that help that I didn't have, essentially.
Right.
And so I started doing meetups to kind of get people together, because I always think people are stronger in a group rather than as individuals.
Everybody unified is a great
thing. So I thought, the meetups would help kind of unify everyone. And then as we started doing meetups, I noticed people were kind of asking for more. And so I started doing the workshops and the road trips. And now we have a membership. So we're kind of taking that next step and that next level. And, as I've gone through my career, I start to learn things and see things that I want to share with people. And so Good Ink is my way to share and like give back to those other people who are just starting out, or the other people who just couldn't figure it out. Because there's a lot of people who, have been doing photography for a long time and are like, I'm surprised that people come to me and ask me questions. And I'm like, you've been doing it for longer than me. But it's just for whatever reason, I was able to position myself and figure some things out early on. And I enjoy sharing that knowledge and helping other people and watching. I've seen so many people start from nothing and build themselves up. We have a guy who used to come to the meetups a long time ago, and now he's a photographer for the Falcons, the Atlanta Falcons.
Wow.
Yeah, so he does a bunch of stuff with the Kings and stuff too, but he was in high school when he started coming to the meetups, and now he's doing pro stuff.
Now, how much are these memberships? And you went from starting this from scratch to how many people do you have in this?
So the memberships kind of came about because it just got too big, honestly. Right. Like people loved it and it got to be too much. So we started doing meetups and we got to a point where the meetups were getting 150, 200 people at the meetups.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was hard for me to really like talk to people, because there's so many people who are kind of like, they want a little bit of attention. It's hard for me to really get hands on with people when there's 150 people there.
Right.
So it kind of lost the value, people were coming and kind of getting lost in the shuffle and people weren't really feeling it. So I figured like, okay, well, let's narrow this thing down. So we started the memberships so people can pay to be a part of the membership, but the membership is a lot smaller. There's about 70 people that are members.
Still pretty good.
So when we do a meetup, we'll get 30 to 40 people at a meetup, which is cool for me because I can talk to everyone and kind of provide value to each person individually. And so the membership is $100 for the year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of
$100 for a year to have you give him things. I mean, come on, man. That's awesome.
We're starting kind of small and building up.
Right.
Obviously, it's going to be more eventually, but we do smaller events. We do studio shoots.
Mm-hmm.
We do workshops, and so it's just like.
And these workshops, do you teach them how to use Photoshop?
Yeah, so
Lightroom,
sometimes it's me and sometimes it's other people because I don't want it to always be me teaching because I have my way of doing things, but there's a bunch of different other ways to do it. So, the memberships are going great. People are loving it. So all our members, as far as I know, are really enjoying it and are getting value out of it. So it's been fun.
What other passions do you have besides photography? Besides helping other photographers in this industry?
You mean like as far as like
just everything?
Yeah, I mean I love basketball. Dude.
Right.
Like
What's your background in basketball?
So
what's your history there?
I've played pretty much my whole life. According to my mom, as soon as I could start walking, I was playing.
That's awesome.
I had like the little hoop that goes in the kitchen drawer. Like I had that thing, and then I got I leveled up from there, obviously. But I played all 4 years in college, so I got a scholarship to play basketball. So I played for a long time.
Where'd you play?
I played at CRC for 2 years, which I love CRC. That was an awesome experience, man. I played there for 2 years, and then I got a scholarship to play at a school in Missouri.
Okay.
So it's called Avila University. It's an NAIA school.
And not many people can say that they played in college. I can't say that.
I had a blast out there, man. It was really fun. I got the typical college experience. I got to live in the dorms and be a student athlete. Dude, it was so much fun. And I still don't play as much, but I still
try to.
Yeah, I still try to. Yeah.
Across the street here at 24.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Exactly.
And we'll get into that a little bit later, but you say you love basketball. Do you love the Kings the same way? Or some people say, I love the Kings, I don't play basketball, I can't really watch basketball on TV. How much do you watch the Kings and really, how much do you follow them? And
I watch a lot. I don't have time to watch every game.
Right.
I usually watch the highlights.
Right.
So I just get like the YouTube highlights, all the made baskets or whatever. But I've been following the Kings since I was super young. Like when I was like 14, 15 was when they were really good.
Right.
And
golden era.
I think that's when most people like fell in love with the Kings,
Yeah.
Like, cause that team, it wasn't just like that they were good. Like that team, those guys were like special. They were fun to watch.
Yeah. It was a team.
Yeah. Like still when I go to the games and like, I'll see NBA players and I'll be like, oh yeah, what's up? But when I see like Peja, I'm like, oh, it's Peja. Like it's crazy. Or I saw Chris Webber, I'm like, whoa, this is crazy, dude. Like,
or Mike Bibby the other day.
Dude,
Bobby Jackson.
Yeah.
Like they're literally all here. Doug Christie's now
those guys are like
analyst.
Yeah, those guys are like legends, like to me, because that was when I was coming up, and that's like when I kind of started paying attention or was able to like really follow the NBA. So I'll have like a never ending love for the Kings. As long as they're in Sacramento, like I'll love the Kings,
How would you describe this year in one word? Don't hold back.
I mean, it's disappointing for sure. Like there's no other way to put it. It's disappointing. I had high hopes for this season.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at the roster and I like the roster.
Me too.
And
it's been tough.
Yeah,
injuries
been,
have played a big part
injuries.
of that.
Yeah, injuries have been a big part of it.
As you know, and I said this yesterday on the podcast with Matt, and I've said this to a lot of people who know me or heard, hey, Leo, what's up, man? What do you think is the biggest problem? I always tell them, man, a lot of it is injuries. Some of it is coaching. And a lot of it is low basketball IQ from the actual team.
Yeah.
And as you know, we see a lot of low basketball IQ players across the street.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And it's definitely frustrating.
Yeah.
And I always say, man, most of the times I catch myself thinking, am I watching 24-hour fitness basketball?
Right.
I'm watching every home game. I'm like, are they really all standing still?
You do see that. Yeah.
Dribble, chucking up a shot. And I'm like,
yeah.
Wait, am I really seeing this? It's frustrating.
Right.
Because, like yourself, you've played this game, you respect the game, and you see it a little bit different than the recreational fan.
Yeah.
You see certain plays that maybe some other people don't see.
Right.
How frustrating is that for you?
Yeah, it's funny because like I have a hard time playing at the gym now because it's like I don't know, it's the culture, like the way the game is played is different than when it used to be. Like I'll go to the gym now and I'll play, and it's like a 3-point shooting contest, dude. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, most people out there can't shoot, but everybody's trying to shoot threes.
Yeah.
And it's just like, all right, we're just jogging up and down the court shooting threes. Like, see who can make the most threes. Especially when you play at 12, like,
Right.
you hit a couple threes, like the game's over. Like, so it's just like, it's frustrating. But I think, people see it in the NBA.
They see Steph Curry and they want to be Steph.
Yeah. Like, and I see so many dudes like doing step back threes, and I'm like, what is going
on,
shoot? Dude? Like, yeah, like, are we here to exercise and play, or are we just like having a shooting contest, dude? Right. So it's hard to, I don't know. Like, I still love playing basketball, but there's also times where I'm like, I don't really want to play right now because I know what's gonna happen. Like, these dudes are gonna throw up a bunch of threes, call a bunch of dumb fouls.
And then you look bad because you're trying to make a play, but you're surrounded with low basketball IQ players. Yeah. They don't see the plays that you see. Yeah. And then you turn the ball over knowing that they should have cut there.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, and then the worst part, they get on you for turning the ball over. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They don't get back on defense.
It's tough.
They chuck up a shot. Yeah. But when someone shoots the ball, oh my gosh, like it's insane to me. And I think it's part of the culture of them watching too much of Steph, too much of Dame.
It really is, yeah.
But they're not. But those guys started at a fundamental level. Exactly. They perfected their craft to be what they are today. Yeah. And I think that is one of the big missing things from all these kids. They play AAU basketball, some of them do, and they're not really coached well. Yeah. Would you say that's so true?
That's
where the problem starts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't want to dog AAU basketball, but I'm not a big fan of it, dude. Like, and I don't like the way the direction that it's taking kind of the game, I think it's interesting, like, you look at a player like Luca,
right, I was about to say that,
who like didn't go through the AAU system and comes in and like is ready to dominate the NBA because he was like trained differently.
They were coached the right way. They're coached fundamentals in Europe. And it's most of these European cats.
Right.
How to shoot, pass, dribble. They're not flashy.
No, dude. Not at all.
But Luka's pretty flashy, but
he
perfected the fundamentals first before he got to the flashy part. I mean, this dude was the MVP at 18 years old.
Yeah.
Against grown men.
Yep.
Guys who played in the NBA. Guys who could play in the NBA, but prefer to stay in Europe for a lot of reasons. Family, culture, and they're treated like kings over there. Yeah. That's what people don't know. Like, well, why don't you play in the NBA? Like, because why would you?
Right.
That's a choice.
Yeah.
And when I saw him, both E-Man and I saw him for 2 years. We've been scouting him, talking to people who are close to him. And they were just like, he's going to be so good.
Right.
And we saw him like, why are people dogging him? And my biggest frustration is that this organization legitimately thought, and it sucks because Vlade is so connected to that area.
Yeah, you would think, right?
You would think. And he really thought that he wasn't going to get better. And I was like, you are aware that he's 19, right?
Right.
And he's doing things at 20 that no one's ever done.
Scary, dude. Scary, yeah.
I thought he'd be doing this in year 4. I'll be honest. Year 2, it's insane to me.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane. But it just comes to show how different our cultures are.
Right.
And if you really do practice the fundamentals in basketball, then the rest will come. Like the athleticism will come.
Dude. Yeah. Like you see so many like if you watch a high school YouTube highlight reel, like you see a bunch of lobs and like step back threes, like
that's how you see it.
Like of course, and it looks like, and you see these videos. And I get caught up in it too. I'm like, man, the kids are so good now. Like they're so good, but you don't see all the other misses.
Game.
You don't see the whole game, bro.
You don't see the misses, and you don't see the whole game.
You don't see the 7 step back threes that the dude missed. You just see the one that he made, And it's like, I don't know. We have to figure out, like, there has to be some kind of shift in the way that kids are being trained. Because right now, like, I feel like we're falling behind. Like, guys come into the league and we think and we expect certain things from them, and they're just not panning out, man. Right. Like, they really aren't.
And there's a reason, because we really hyped them up. So it's really us.
It's so true.
It's us. Yeah. It's the people around them, the media, the hype.
Yep.
Here you go. Here's a superstar. And then they come to the league, like, no disrespect to Bagley, but he's been disappointing. A lot of it has been injuries, but he was the same way. Dominant in college, highlights. Yep. That's how people saw, he's going to be better than Luka. But I'm like, have you watched Luka play, though?
Right.
A lot of these cats get all the media coverage. And all these other guys who really deserve it don't.
Yeah.
Like, how did John Morant end up at Murray State?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How do you let a guy like that not go to a top tier university? Yeah. Good for Murray.
Right.
But I mean, how does this happen? And
It's crazy.
It goes back to that.
Right. If his highlight reel tape wasn't good enough, then he's not big time, so he has to go to Murray State. But, you know, a guy that can play basketball,
Right.
obviously at a high level is gonna make it to the league one way or another. Just it's interesting to see, man. Like,
no doubt. So I want to move on to what's your day-to-day like?
yeah, I mean, I can use today as like a good example.
Okay.
I did 2 photo shoots already and had like 3 meetings. So it's
Life of an
it's
entrepreneur.
a lot. Yeah, I mean it's a lot, man. But I love what I do, so I can't complain. You know, like I get to take photo. Like I did a photo shoot and got some free food at the same time. Like I'm definitely not complaining, and I love it, man. And like I purposely scheduled it out so I could get all that stuff done early in the day. And now I got to go edit those photos. You know,
right?
But it's a lot, man. It takes a toll, you know, sometimes.
No doubt.
Especially I'm in a relationship. It's hard, dude. It's really hard to like find that balance. Especially when you love what you're doing. So then it's like I'm like, yeah, I'll do that for sure. Like, yeah,
way, man. It's tough.
I'll do that. Like I'm always like saying yes to everything. Yeah. And so like I don't know, I'm getting to a point where I gotta like kind of narrow down what I do and be more like deliberate with my time for sure, because it can get out of control quick. Like this idea of like
Steve said it perfectly.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, I just got married, and that's the same dilemma. It's the same issue. It's like you're always doing something.
Yeah,
always
always something.
Editing, always something. Always in the meeting. Always in that event. And then you feel guilty of it.
Yeah, I do feel bad. I do feel bad.
You do. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. No, but I mean, if you're not, you also feel like if you're an entrepreneur, like you're like, if I'm not doing something, I'm falling behind, dude.
Exactly.
Like, you know, if I'm not doing
we're programmed differently.
Yeah.
I feel anxiety when I'm not doing something.
Yeah.
And I'm watching you, I'm like, oh,
right.
I'm thinking about what's next.
Yeah.
And that's bad.
Yeah.
That's a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's also a good thing.
Right.
But at what point do we just say, all right, put that down. Let's enjoy the time.
I'm still trying to figure that out, man. Maybe you can tell me.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. One last thing. What type of projects are you looking to do in the next couple of months? I'm really focused on like building out a video tutorial library for Good Ink for our members, so it can expand beyond Sacramento. Because right now we can only affect the people that like we touch directly. You know, like you have to come to a meetup, or you have to come to a workshop. And so I want to have a video library where we can help people all around the world. That's awesome, man.
So that's what I'm working on building. And then like I really want to get involved with, at some point, I want to get involved with kids, because I know I always wonder this, like if I would have been exposed to photography at a young age, like what would my life be like now, you know? And so that's kind of something that I'm interested in doing is getting to kids that aren't exposed to photography, because I never met a photographer. Like we did photo shoots for like basketball, you know,
right? But
I didn't know those people. They were usually just like old dudes, you know, like. And I want to show kids that this is a career path that they can take. And so I want to somehow. I haven't figured that out yet, but that's one of my goals for sure.
Good Thompson, y'all. Yeah. Follow him on Instagram.
Yeah.
Arguably the best photographer in all Sacramento, man. Mad love to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Don't forget, guys, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us here on IGTV. This will also be available on iTunes. Y'all can drop a review. Let us know how we're doing. If you don't like it, let us know. What can we improve on? We're always looking to improve.
Yeah.
Always.
That's the name of the game.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. On behalf of the entire CK team, thank you guys so much. See you on the next one.
Yes, sir.